Happy Valentine's for those that are in love and for those who actually celebrate Valentine's and were celebrated by their partner. I hope you had a wholesome day. And yeah, this episode is not necessarily love, romance oriented. It's a bit like, it's a bit, I don't want to be a wet blanket, but it's not giving um happiness. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you've listened to the previous episodes, Sugar and Work. I am trying to get the hang of this recording thing, this editing thing. So there are going to be blunders here and there, but I am working on it, and the more I practice, I know it will get better with time. So I'm really sorry about that if there are some areas that you can notice, but I am going to try my best to improve the listening experience for you. And yeah, today's topic is actually love, but not the love that we're like, raging about right now. So I'm just very excited to talk about this because it's something that I've always wanted to talk about, and I feel like it's something that I think a lot of people can relate to. As usual, the topics that I delve into are relatable or based off of the experiences of people that I know, things that I've witnessed, or just based off of like what I know personally or things that are, relatable to me. So, thank you so much. I am so excited, and let's get into it. A lot of people are not really getting married these days. In fact, people are actually delaying the whole process of marriage altogether. And the reason being, the divorce rate has been incredibly exponential over the years. And the most common reasons that people are divorcing are lack of commitment, too much arguing, infidelity, marrying too young, unrealistic expectations, lack of equality in the relationship, lack of preparation for the marriage, abuse, financial issues, etc. So, like, the marriage chat has been something that a lot of people have been, reluctant to delve into, especially in our generation. I'm speaking from people born like mid 90s onwards, people who are now like from ranging from 20s to 30s, and some people who are even in their 30s are not really rushing into that. And it's been fascinating to me as to how why there's a delay, even though we're not necessarily like racing against time or anything, but it's not the same like it used to be like back then. Back then people would get married early 20s, straight after high school, um, or some people would elope even within high school times, and they would start their family and then, start their family, build their career, live together, etc. And the rest is history. There wasn't a lot of like second guessing back then. And I think a lot of people can attest to the things that they've witnessed within marriages based off of what their parents have, shown them, or even just family members or relatives, like the way they've seen things just like change when people get married. There's this like fear of like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to be me. So that's why a lot of people just end up waiting. And even the fact that the divorce rate is just like ridiculously high now, a lot of people are really being intentional about that decision. And yeah, I just want to talk about the different factors involving the dating age, the dating era, what is going on right now, and why is it that people are not getting married like they used to back then, and why is there um, such a weird construct regarding that. Like, people are literally saying fuck you to the societal standard, and I'm here for it, but then, like, there are issues within the dating scene that's like crazy right now, and I feel like a lot of people have can attest to what I'm about to share. So let's hear it. What is going on in the dating scene these days? Like, why is it so different as compared to back then? Because, like, back then, like, people would people believed in monogamy. Monogamy was like a common thing, but then now it's just so totally different. And I feel like the factors that have changed are the fact that, like, sexuality is now openly fluid. Like, people are coming in tune or in touch with their sexual orientation, and they're unapologetic about it. Number one. Number two, monogamy isn't really like something that people want to pursue. Like, for some people, I'm talking about some people who tell you, like, nah, I can't have a wife, or I can't commit to one woman or one man. Like, that ain't for me. There's that. And then there's also the hookup culture. The hookup culture is crazy now. A lot of people don't really care about who they sleep with anymore, and it's just like, like a huge fuck you to societal standards. Like I said before, like, people don't want to conform to what was normalized because they've seen the detriment of what society's standards have caused. And another thing, love has been so overrated or like frowned upon. Like, people have been on that city girl shit. People have been listening to Share 7. People have been listening for financial freedom. And then people have been listening to the late Kevin Samuels. The traditional roles have been like morphed in a way, because gender has also shifted. The concept of gender altogether has shifted. Also, feminism has played a role in that. Like, there's just a lot of like things that were just thrown in a pot, and like, now craving for that normalcy, or craving for that tradition seems very foreign, especially if you're living in a society like ours, right? Living in a society like ours, that like everything is just swift, everybody is just like doing whatever they want. That's basically what it is. And because of that, I think the dating pool is difficult for some people, because it's like, for some people, someone might be monogamous, and then they're dating someone who believes in polygamy, and they are very open about it and unapologetic about it. And then, because it's a standard that you've set for yourself, you tell yourself, like, no, like, I do not want to compromise on this. Even though you're interested in that person, you're like, you know what, screw it, I can't be with this person because they told me that I'm not going to be the only one, but I'm a monogamous person. So there's that like weird clash, that's going on. Even like the whole I don't believe in commitment because there's a girl who broke my heart, and because she broke my heart, I will not give my heart to any other female. My role in life is to make women cry. There are some men who are actually hung up on that. Like, they stand on that. They believe in that. They literally are convinced that everybody is out to get them, and because everybody is out to get them, everybody must suffer just to protect their feelings. There's also a concept of like daddy issues, mommy issues. People are having like these weird relationships that are not necessarily healthy. For example, like the sugar daddy culture, the sugar mommy culture, like you are dating, these are the like people that are exposed to all these varieties, right? Or all these, or people who have various characteristics that I've mentioned, or various backgrounds. And it's like very difficult to date in that concept. There are people who have hectic mental health issues. If you're dating a partner with like a lot of like mental health issues, it's very hard to be committed or like to be loyal. For some of them it's be very difficult because it's like, nah, but I just want to be happy, and then now I'm out here, worried about you, and you know the person with the mental health issues develops this unhealthy codependency with their partner because they feel seen. Concepts of body dysmorphia, all of those things, like I feel like the hyper awareness we have now has really shifted the dating pool, and it is scary to delve into that because you don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to make the same mistakes that like our forefathers like did, you know but like also there's this unsaid fear of it not working out that's like going on. And people are so afraid of committing and falling in love or being in love with their person, and being unashamed about it. People be dating each other secretly, and they don't want people to know that they're together because they're worried about their clique, what the clique is gonna think. There's just like I said, a lot of factors, and it gets frustrating because it's like, okay, so what am I doing? What is happening? So yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about this. Social media, just the internet in general, has just like a scary role to play in this. I think it's crazy how you can have access to people. The access that we have to people is insane. You literally just can go on Instagram, you can find 100, 200 influencers that have public accounts that are just like posting every day, like they're standing on business. They're not slacking regarding that. And then you have people who have the OnlyFans accounts that are constantly posting content and everything, whether it's provocative, whether they're misusing it or using it, whatever. But the fact that like some people are even paying for their pictures is insane. There's also porn, that's also the issue. Like the access to porn and the level of porn addiction now has morphed the whole concept of like sexuality altogether and romance altogether, because everything is just like so accessible, hypersexual. Everything is just like you can just search anything within 5 minutes, you'll find it. That's basically what I'm saying. So imagine for some people, like they tell themselves that no, I have options. All I can do is to, if I want to go on a date, I just have to download Tinder. I just have to download Bumble. I just have to. It's become like easy. It's not as like difficult as it was back then. Now it's just like so easy, so convenient to find something, to find some serotonin boost. Like it is that simple. You can go on TikTok, you can go on Twitter, you can go on Facebook, you can go anywhere and you will find whatever you're looking for. Whatever you're looking for, you will find it. If you know, you know. That's what I'm saying. Um and I think that is also, it plays a pivotal role as well in the dating scene, the dating scenario. There are girls who talk about going through their boyfriend's phones when they're sleeping because they're like, nah, they're baddies these days, and it's usually the gent sliding into a female's you know DM and saying like, "Hey, what's good?" And then that causes a whole fight, and all of a sudden the relationship is like shaking. But that's what I'm saying. The access that people have um, to people is just insane. It is really difficult now. So, because the dating scene is just scary, there's some people who are not okay with the idea of being alone. In fact, they do not even entertain that. They do not even entertain the fact that, like, they're single, or, they don't have a partner in their lives right now, because I don't know. I think it's linked to some esteem issues, to be quite honest. And because of that, they end up forcing matters in this terrible dating pool. And I'm talking about people who are like pick me's. People who are like pick me's. And if you don't know what a pick me is, it can go both ways, both male or female. A person who does everything for external validation. So if it's a pick me who's a female, she does things for male validation, and then if it's a male, he does things for female validation. That's like, um, those are like pick me's, right? And people don't understand how being a pick me is like so desperate. I don't know. I feel like that's a level of self hate that I don't understand. Let me explain why. When you're a pick me, I feel like the other person's um, interests come first, or basically you make them a priority over you. That's what it is. It's not necessarily like, oh, I really care about this person, and I want them to be okay or whatever. No. You hate yourself so much, you'd rather be with a person who treats you like shit all the time than be with yourself, than just to stay with yourself or be with yourself or just be alone. And I've seen this so many times, and I have seen like that with the older generation, especially like the women from back then. They were probably the biggest pick me's in the world. Why am I saying that? Some of them stayed in very toxic situations that did not serve them, all because they couldn't fathom the idea of being alone. They couldn't tolerate that, like, possibility of existing without this person. Um, and examples of simple like pick me tendencies are like, when you it can start off small, like a guy, probably you're the one who initiates everything, you're the one who pays for everything, you buy him clothes, you make sure he is comfortable, and you spoil him over yourself like all the time. You're constantly sacrificing yourself just because you want this person to say yes, like, I like you for that, and basically it's detrimental in the sense that usually on the other end, the guy or the person who you're doing all of these things for and doesn't reciprocate in anything for you, they are just benefiting a lot of things, you know um there are some people who are okay with that. Like, they're okay with, let's say, their partner just being like having a crazy infidelity record, comfortable with him not sleeping at home. That time he's staying at your place, staying at your house, you're the one who's paying all the bills, and he doesn't bring anything to the table. Whenever he is broke, or whenever he doesn't know what he's doing, or he's irresponsible with people or whatever, he comes to you for things all the time. So he comes to you when he doesn't have a car, when he doesn't have a place to stay, when that's when you see him. That's literally when you see him. Even when he just wants to hook up, that's the only time he wants to see you. Otherwise, he's not taking you out, he's not buying you flowers, he's not buying you gifts and all of that. Like, and it is crazy because now, because you're so scared of, or you have like that fear of rejection and you're scared of being alone, you end up tolerating a lot of bullshit, and it's detrimental to you. Worse if you have kids, because guess what happens? You're going to keep on tolerating this man, keep on being with this man, and like allowing him to take and take and take from you, that he might even end up abusing you, and you don't even realize the impact or the damage that he's doing to you, not only to your self-esteem but to like to your emotional being altogether, because you are so infatuated by the idea of a relationship, not necessarily infatuated by him. And that causes such a vicious cycle of toxicity. And don't be a pick me. Like, yeah, the dating scene is bad and everything, but like, love yourself enough to put yourselves first and set those standards in everything or in every interaction that you have with a person, because it's very unfair for you to experience the butt end of the bargain, the butt end of the bargain, and just like keep on putting up with nonsense unnecessarily. Time will go, and guess what happens? You're going to end up very angry when you see people posting their happy pictures, quote unquote, happy relationships and everything. But you could have let go and avoided the situation altogether if you loved yourself. We also have the narcissistic partners. These are people that are within the dating pool that take advantage of vulnerable people like pick-me's, right? They take advantage of the fact that, you don't love yourself enough. So, hey, let me actually weaponize that. Let me feed on that, right? And a lot of people have been seeing narcissists being thrown around, especially if you go on TikTok. Everybody is always like psychoanalyzing. I'm not going to act like I don't do the same, but it's a word that's always thrown around, and I just wanted to say the definition. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this order may lack the ability. Did I say with this order? People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others, right? So there's that flip side, because now there are two extremes. There's a person who will do anything and everything for somebody else, which is detrimental to like their mental health, their well-being. Like, they will do anything and everything for that external validation. Then we have the flip side. A narcissist is a person who does anything and everything for themselves. They want validation for themselves. They want you to worship the ground that they walk on. They do not like it when you have a life outside of them. Your life must revolve around them, right? And these partners are very toxic, right? They're the ones who are territorial, who don't want you to have friends. They love isolating you and putting you away, for nobody to see, because all you do is worship the ground they walk on. Basically, you are theirs, and they don't want to share you with anyone. They are also threatened by you, you know? And imagine being with a person who views everything that you do as competition. They see you as a threat every time you do something that betters yourself, that makes you increase your value in some way, that is, or even just the fact that you're good at something and they're not. They fight that. They are going to make sure that, they belittle you in some way, even if you're attractive or you get noticed. I've noticed like narcissism usually for partners usually occurs in partners that, or in relationships that, like, let's say one partner has a degree and it's a woman. Let's say she has her degree, she's educated, she's very smart, she's intellectual, she's intelligent, and then a narcissist feels threatened by that. A male narcissist would be like, no, that doesn't make sense because it's a man's world, and you can't be out here talking about stocks, you can't be out here talking about the economy, like that doesn't make sense. This is not what it's supposed to be, and he feels emasculated essentially because he thinks, because this woman is pursuing things that matter to her, or that, add value to herself, he feels emasculated by that. I feel like the two things that are pretty common between a narcissist and a pick me are like, you just don't love yourself, because a narcissist, like, projects their insecurities. So because they're insecure about the fact that they probably don't do they are not necessarily as attractive or sociable or likable or whatever as their partner, they will fight their partner because of that, because it's like one of those, you are what I want to be, but I don't have that capacity to be that. Like, I actually admire you, but no, you must admire me because I'm better than you, because I don't want to give you the praise that you deserve, because I am the show, I am the star of the show. That's the narcissist. So, like, it's just messed up because a lot of women find themselves in these like toxic relationships or marriages, even like a narcissistic person will crush your dreams, will hold you back, will rob you of your years. And because, like what I said, if you're just going to constantly be putting somebody else's needs above yours, especially when they're constantly like causing detriment to you, then there's a problem. And I guess the whole power dynamic is also important to talk about in relationships as well, and why dating is very difficult, because for some people, for some men rather, they think like, if I'm providing for you, if I'm paying for things for you, if I'm taking care of you, I basically own you. And then the feminists like side, like where we are at now, is the freedom of choice, the fact that I can choose to be at home or choose to work. I could choose to be a mom, or I can choose to be a career woman and still get that support from your partner. I feel like that is the essence of like equality in a relationship, where people are not necessarily infringing on the next person's freedom, and in fact just like working together, like, like we're a team, we're not competing with each other. And yeah, it all circles back to you as a person, because a lot of people who hate themselves, who are tough on themselves and everything, they subconsciously end up projecting their insecurities to people, and that is just a reflection of how you treat yourself behind closed doors. I have a theory. I believe that if you want your relationship to work, or if you want to delve into this dating pool vibe, I've noticed a lot of people don't want to do the work themselves. They don't want to work on themselves, and they rely on their partners to do the work for them. For example, if you do not love yourself, if you're not patient with yourself, why should somebody be patient with you? If you do not love yourself, why should someone love you? If you do not take care of yourself, why should somebody come and take care of you? Like, I think it's a two-way street, because I feel like your relationships are a reflection of who you are in general. Like, in isolate, like, let's say you as a person, the relationship that you're in is a reflection of the type of person you are. So if you're going to be in relationships that do not serve you, that are just like toxic, you're being taken advantage of, this person shows his or her true colors in the beginning, and then you keep tolerating them, you keep, you know, allowing them to take advantage of you, at what cost? I don't know. But like, if you keep allowing those things to happen, it's just a reflection of you. You expect somebody to sit through your pain and sit and listen to like the most traumatic things that have happened to you. And these are things that you know you're supposed to work on, but you choose to ignore. And instead of taking yourself to therapy and getting the help that you need, you are constantly emotionally dumping on your partner. And guess what happens? That just causes like an unhealthy like dynamic between the two of you, because it becomes like transactional. Like, oh, I miss him. Like, do you miss him? Or you just miss the fact that he would listen to you talk about, you know, the terrible things that have happened to you, and you're not actually dealing with them. I feel like it's important that, if especially if you guys have consented to being together, I think it's important to be cognizant of the next person. The only way you can be cognizant of the next person and how you conduct yourself is by introspecting and being self-aware, and also treating yourself how you would want the next person to treat you. So you can't be like, yeah, no, like, I want a guy who's calm, but then you're not calm with yourself. Or I want someone who takes care of me, but then you yourself, you don't take care of yourself. Why do you want someone to give you things that you don't give to yourself? And I think that's what dating should really be about, where we give to each other what we do for each other, what I can do for myself. Like, I'm going to do what I can do for me, and I'm gonna do it for you as well, because it's not coming from a place of, oh, resentment, or like, oh, self-sacrificing. No, I would actually, enjoy like sitting and listening to you ramble about your day, because I check in with myself. Behind closed doors, I will check in with myself. I will talk to myself. I want a person who affirms me, but I also should learn how to affirm myself. I want a person who spoils me, but behind closed doors, I should be able to spoil myself. You don't want to be with a partner who brings out the worst in you. Be with a person who brings out the best version of you. And I think the chat of us working on ourselves before we start roping people into our different echo chambers and into our different worlds, I think it's important to really think about that and be intentional. Because if you're intentional with yourself, it's not going to be hard to be intentional with somebody's heart. If you're intentional with your heart, you will definitely be intentional with somebody else's. You're going to be selfless, you're going to be patient, you're going to be caring, you're going to be all these characteristics that you expect your partner to have. You will be able to experience that in the dating world, because you do that for you. You date yourself first. So date yourself first. I'm not saying that like it is you're not going to be taken advantage of, or there's some people who will treat you right all the time. There are some people who are just terrible people and should not be like enjoying or experiencing you. But the minute you're so self-aware, you're able to discern who is right for me and who is not for me, you know. And yeah, I think this topic really needs a part two. I really want to do a part two on this. Obviously, not immediately. In due time, I will do a part two on that. But the main takeaway is that in the spirit of Valentine's, in the spirit of love, love yourself. Okay, love yourself, and then you can step into loving other people. Because if you do not love yourself, you're going to be fighting with everybody else who does. You're going to be this you're going to be like just projecting constantly to everybody else who backs themselves, you know. So back yourself first. Just work on you first before you start roping other people's kids into your world. But I'm so happy that you listened in, and thank you for tuning in. It was a rant, but also I was just trying to. There are just so many factors that like I wish I could talk about like extensively, but they're definitely going to be subtopics from this series. I'll try and make a love series on the side as well because there's just so many factors to talk about. But I hope you enjoyed your Valentine's. I hope you take care of yourself. I hope you love yourself, treat yourself, you know, make yourself the main character of your life. You deserve that. And yeah, I'm super excited for the next episode. Even though I don't know what it is, but I'm super excited for the next one. Stay tuned. Bye.